Hi everyone, I want to show you how you can make your own really simple gluten-free bread. So I'm going to use a range of gluten-free flours and you can vary these slightly. But in here I've got some rice flour. This is a nice light flour, naturally gluten-free. Try and use brown rice flour and we're going to put that in a food processor. This just makes it so much easier for you to make your own. Now the next one, which adds a little bit of starch to the bread, is potato flour or potato starch I'm using. That will help it to bind. Now you could use tapioca starch as well. So that's going in. Now for a bit of protein and for a lot more fibre, then I'm going to use, you can either use buckwheat flour or teff or even quinoa flour. All of these are readily available now in supermarkets or online. So that's going in as well. Now again, for a little bit more protein and fat, I like to add some nuts. Now this is just simply ground almonds. And again, you could grind any nuts up and use them. Sometimes, if you want a bit more protein, add a bit of protein powder instead. And that's going in as well. Then the raising agent, we're going to use just a sachet of dried yeast. And then to hold it together, I'm also adding a little bit of xanthum gum as well. It's a natural gum that we often use in gluten-free breads just to help it bind together because obviously there's no gluten. Then we're going to add just a little bit of fat. Now, if you're dairy-free, you could use coconut oil or a dairy-free spread. If you're not dairy-free, then obviously you could use just some ghee or some butter. We're then going to quickly process that to form fine crumbs. Okay. So once it's formed fine crumbs, we're then going to make a dough. And this will be a very soft dough. Unlike normal bread doughs, it's more of a batter. In here, I've got warm water. It's 400 millilitres. And I'm going to now add a little bit of molasses. Now, the molasses does a couple of things. One, it gives it a lovely golden colour, but it's also going to help the yeast to feed and then grow. Just stir that in, and it's important that your liquid is tepid, not too hot because we don't want to kill that yeast. So just make sure that's dissolved. Pour that in, okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of sea salt. And we're going to blend that and it will form quite a thick batter. And then we're just going to pulse in some seeds. If you wanted a sweet option, you could add, say, a little bit of dried fruit instead. Just pulse those in, just very briefly. Then pour your batter into a clean bowl. Cover, I use just a shower cap and leave to prove for 1 hour. After an hour, you should find that your dough is lovely and springy with lots of air bubbles. Gradually and very carefully pour it into your cake tin or your bread tin. I'm using a 2-pound lined loaf tin. Spread it gently. And then if you want, you can sprinkle it with a few more seeds. Leave to prove over 15 minutes and then bake in the oven for about 30 minutes until golden. So after about 30-40 minutes, your bread will be lovely and golden and you should see it nice and risen. Allow it to cool in the tin for about 5 or 10 minutes, then just loosen it with a knife and then just carefully take it out the tin, and then you can allow that to cool. Cut and slice, ready to serve.